Welcome back to the off cycle. We've had a delay in getting this transom poured due to some work related stuff I've had going on the last month, combined with a real issue getting the hardener for this. I ordered the carbon bond pourable transom compound, ceramic transom compound, from a local vendor here in Jacksonville, and I asked them and I said, does that come with the catalyst? They said yes, and it never came with the catalyst. And then they didn't carry the catalyst from carbon core, which doesn't make any sense. And they only carried a gallon, and I don't want to pay $80-100 for a gallon of hardener, and I only needed like 21 ounces. And then to get the catalyst directly from carbon core, they wanted like $60 just to ship it, which was outrageous. So I ended up getting it elsewhere, and then for some reason they requested a signature on the package, and I'm not home during the days now. I used to be, but I'm not now, so I'm not home during the afternoons. And then it was basically being sent back to the vendor, so it's been a nightmare. It's taken me like 2 weeks just to get this hardener, on top of what it took me to get the compound and then being away. So we're back now. I did get it poured today. It wasn't too bad. I screwed up a little bit and left one large hole on the outside open, and then I forgot about the 2 holes on the inside, on the starboard side, for the U-bolts on the interior skin. So I started pouring and getting some leaks there, so I had to quick put some tape over those and seal those up. But other than that, it went really well. I ended up using about, minus what was spilt, I think I used about 8.5 gallons. I bought 2 pails, so I ended up having about 1.5 gallons, maybe 2 gallons left. So it was pretty efficient. I didn't have too much waste, and I didn't have to buy a whole extra pail just for like 1 gallon or so. So it worked out well. I'll flip around and show you what I've got. So this is the compound itself. Don't mind this brown orange stuff. This is just a dirty Tupperware thing, but this is the actual compound itself. It's interesting. It's kind of like sandy. It's almost like it's got sand or something mixed in. I don't know if that's the ceramic or what, but I thought it was more smooth than this, but it's kind of an interesting mix of stuff. So I'll put some catalyst in this, and we'll see if it hardens up. At about 4 or 5 drops. That's going to be pretty hot, but it'll give me an idea of whether or not it's going to mix up. So I'll get this mixed in, and we'll check it later. So I think we're getting pretty cured. About 45 minutes ago, this was much warmer than it is now. So I think the curing, most of the reaction is pretty much done. This is still warm, but it's not hot. It never got super hot, which is good. I was worried about it curing too fast and then shrinking up and getting splitting or getting voids or anything in it. So but I like the fact that the temperature helps me understand that it was everywhere, all the way out here, all the way up top. It was warm, pretty much consistent temperature everywhere, and it still is somewhat warm, but it's not too bad. I do have this piece of stainless here on a clamp just to pinch this in. It was bowing out in the middle. I want to make sure it's nice and flat, so when the motor gets reinstalled, it's not installed on a bow right here. It's nice and flat, and this transom is a nice uniform thickness all throughout. So I do have some left over if I need to top fill this, but basically this is just going to get laid. This will get all ground down smooth, and then I'm going to go ahead. This was just a fiberglass cap that was like siliconed on here, like whatnot, but I'm going to go ahead and permanently fiberglass this cap and redo this whole thing. So once this is all set, it'll get ground down smooth. This will get ground down, and this whole top edge will get all fiberglassed off, and then it'll get re-gel coated along with the back of the transom. I still have work to do back here. Some of this is going to get ground down more to facilitate the fiberglassing, but overall I'm pretty happy with it. This is already pretty solid. It's getting firmed up pretty good, so I think it's going to work well, and be happy to get the boat back together. I did get a call that my fuel tank is ready. That's down in Bartow, Florida. It's about 4 hours from me, but my dad over in Clearwater, he's gonna run over there and grab it for me, and he'll probably just bring it up next time he comes up in the next couple weekends or whatever. So then we'll be able to move on with that. I do have a sample. I cut out, when I was cutting the taper on this back panel, I cut a chip of the gel coat, a good size chip, and I'm gonna mail that off to a company. I don't remember the name off the top of my head, but mailing that out to a company that will scan it and then digitally match and pigment a batch of gel coat for me, so I can regel the whole back of this, and it will match up basically what came on there. It should be pretty easy because there is a bit of a transition. So you might see a little bit of this line, but hopefully it will blend. But the whole back is going to get done, so you shouldn't really see too much of a difference as far as the gel coat, the faded gel coat meeting the other mismatched gel coat. Shouldn't be too much of a line. I did end up, rather than mixing the everything in the bucket that it came in, I did end up mixing kind of some of it kind of on the top, and then what I did is I poured it into a separate 5-gallon bucket, so then the mixed stuff was on the bottom, and I added the rest of the hardener and was able to pull that up with the mixer on the drill and get everything mixed really well. Just enabled me to kind of pour it out. That really helped me mix it thoroughly. I would recommend that. I would probably just have a sacrificial bucket to do this with. But the thing I did like about this Carbon Bond is that it's quite thin, so it really seeks its own level, and pretty easy to work with as compared to what I've seen like with the C-Cast and stuff. It really kind of seeks its own level. I just poured it straight in. I didn't even have any, I just poured it straight in here. I really had very minimal spillage or anything like that. Just poured it straight in, and it's really thin enough where it doesn't really get air bubbles, and it kind of poured it in right in the middle, and it just kind of ran out to the sides and seeked its own level. And I think pretty much most of the air voids came out on their own. I did take my Sawzall, took the blade off, and just put it up against here and let it run and just let it kind of vibrate, and that helped. Once I got towards the top, that helped it kind of assist it in running out to the sides and filling in on the sides. But I never really saw any air bubbles coming out, so I really don't think there was many air bubbles in it to begin with, because it's thin enough to really not trap air and kind of push the air out as it flows anyway. So that's one thing I really did like about this particular product.